people make you lie down.
Yo yo, Mayegun don come. Oh yo yo,
My people make we shout
oh
out.
yo yo, Mayegun don come. Oh yo yo,
Mayegun the command of the masses.
oh yo yo, Mayegun don come. Oh yo yo,
Mayegun the political.
oh yo yo, Mayegun don come. Oh yo yo,
This one not day of in
oh
mind.
yo yo, Mayegun don come. Oh yo yo.
Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he dey hot like pepper. But every day, then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say, make we no talk. But thank God say, Mayegun don't come. So my people make you laugh.
Oh yo yo, Mayegun don come. Oh yo yo,
My people make you shout.
oh yo yo, Mayegun don come. Oh yo yo.
Mayegun don't come.
Hello there.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀, làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun live.
Mayegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ara yìí. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ.
Thank you so much. I miss all of you too. And thanks for joining me. Okay, share this broadcast. Invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them Mayegun today.
Bó bá ṣe eré, àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun diary, ó sì tún ṣe eré, wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary.
Thank you, Fatu Khan.
Mayegun diary.
The squad is ready. Jaga bandits, Jaga addicts, Aṣíwájú àwọn olè has finally come full circle. Share this broadcast.
Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary, na you be number one. Àní ẹ̀sùn rà kì í. Mayegun ti dé.
But today, they have already fired the EFCC chairman. Of course, as expected, the house cleaning will continue this week. The squad is ready. The Devourers have grouped together and they are ready. Share this broadcast.
Àní ẹ̀sùn rà kì í. Mayegun ti dé. Ọba bá gbé wúrẹ́. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rà kì í.
Over 40 killed in Plateau State. In Jos, yeah. The terrorists are also very much back. Thank you, far too kind. Let's get started. Good evening once again, and good morning to you, and good afternoon to you from wherever you are watching from. It is Mayegun, and it is live. If you are watching me right now, it's live, but if you are watching me after tonight, it's going to be a replay. But either way, share this broadcast. Read the caption and the description, right? Drop your offering, which is like the broadcast, and then sit back. Let's get started. In the last few days, the trending news is that Kalu signed a bill that nobody kind of knew anything about until that day. And that bill is called the Student Loan Law. And I kind of came out quickly because you can tell when something is haphazardly put together, right, in that manner, you can smell the fraud, you can smell the scheme from far. But for somebody like Mayegun and those who love to trust the thieves that they probably will do something better, or the criminals actually care about them or care for them. So Mayegun is just going to be a negative person to people like that. Yeah, I was a negative person to people who rejected the truth, who chose never to see the lies or see the fraud. And the moment they discover that they have been defrauded, they begin to tell God to intervene. But then they likely won't come back and say, I remember when that Mayegun said it too. But guess something, right? Even when they are completely caught up in that fraud, and those who are the victims, of that fraud, the Nigerians, most of them just turn around and say, well, Shebi, you never wanted him to succeed anyway. So I'm not new. In case if your own mantra is, at least let us give them some chance. You see, what I say or what we know on this platform is never going to really change anything. You have handed over Nigeria to criminals. This time around, known career criminals. You now have Akpabiole. You have a Tikolu who have put up his own squad. Now, what that simply means is that it is a freeway, the highway, when they will begin to rape you economically. But let's get it on to this. It is a fraud. And it is not even like taking his, it doesn't take the life of his own before the whole scheme, lies, fraud around it, including the corruption around it. Something you can call setting up a shop on education. Don't get confused. Tinubu signed a law that Bokwari rejected. And that law is that the government of Nigeria, right, will establish a bank. And that bank will be financed or funded by the Central Bank of Nigeria from the proceeds of oil. 1% of the money they make from crude oil, every month, will go straight into education bank. But should I remind you quickly, ladies and gentlemen, that there is something called education tax fund or education tax. Every company that is paying tax in Nigeria, operating in Nigeria today, I'm talking about those ones doing it legally. Every company, by law in Nigeria, will pay 20% of their own, their profit, right? And the government of Nigeria, the government of Nigeria will then take this 20% tax, and it is meant for education, totally educationally.
Disable, àtisètè, àtisètè, àti ń parọ́ tipẹ́, àtisètè, tìtò òdìmú òdodo òsì mọ́, àtisètè, òdìsètè, kágbádé fálárì, àtisètè, kágbẹ̀bí fálárì, àtisètè, adájọ́ ń parọ́ torí owó, àtisètè, àtisètè, òṣèlú ń parọ́ nítorí ipò, àtisètè, àtisètè, èdò gbówó mìíràn, àtisètè, àtisètè, ètìsètè, àtisètè, ìjà ń jà aráàlú, àtisètè, àtisèbó, àtisètè, àtisètè, àti ń parọ́ tipẹ́, àtisètè, tìtò òdìmú òdodo òsì mọ́, àtisètè, òdìsètè, kágbádé fálárì, àtisètè, kágbẹ̀bí fálárì, àtisètè, adájọ́ ń parọ́ torí owó, àtisètè, àtisètè, òṣèlú ń parọ́ nítorí ipò, àtisètè.
Sorry about that. I just froze. Anyway, talking about education in Nigeria, from primary school to university level in Nigeria, education is meant to be free. But corruption, not law, there is a law that says if all these companies, if this 20% is indeed used for education, do you know how much Nigeria will be spending on education every year? I'll give you a rough estimate, okay? Nigeria will be having a whooping sum of 3 trillion naira in a year. 3 trillion for education alone, without having to kind of cut money or what have you, or get money from elsewhere for education. Just that money alone. I have known this for the past 20 years of my life. It's called education tax and education tax fund. You will never hear about it, anything about it. So this new law of Kolu, the job for the boys, okay, is this. Education in Nigeria have suffered serious poor funding for decades. And this was deliberate, by the way. It is kind of intentional. Destroy the education, right? Destroy the quality of the product of Nigeria education. Enough that you have so many people in Nigeria today. They are PhD holder in this, this one in that, doctorate in this, certificate without any substance, ordinary bridge. They can't tell you that. Say, you know that beautiful bridge constructed in so-so's place was designed by Nigerian, engineering school. And the whole construction and everything was done by Nigerian students or engineers. No, everywhere you go, okay, everybody parade is certificate without substance, nothing. Because the certificate is mostly to prepare yourself for an opportunity when you can easily access government and steal money too. So the education was deliberately destroyed in Nigeria. And Kolu has come on to cash on it. I'm not your enemy, but you'll find out soon. Now, they have this law that Kolu signed. In that fraudulent student loan law, something they extracted from the 1975 military government decree on education. Now, back then, when the military did it, the people who got the loan, majority of them defaulted, that they ended up being published in the Nigerian Daily. So what Kolu and gang, what they cooked for Nigeria is this. It's not to help education or help you, the students. No, your life is about to take a new twist. A lot of you are going to drop out of school very soon. And like I said, I'm not your enemy. Okay? Now, the law that Kolu signed, it will now give them the right to set up a bank. Okay? And that bank is going to be called Education Bank and set up by the federal government of Nigeria. Now, by that law, Tinubu is allowed, by that law he signed, to take 1% of the crude oil sale and give that 1% to that bank. So setting up of the bank, the directors, the rest of that, I bet you know what will happen to that, but let's leave that. So the bank is just going to be a stop shot of the new face of money laundering, like when they opened a shop for Shadia. Now, you see this bank, you as a student, a federal student, whether you are going to the federal college or you are going to the federal university, okay, they are considered the cheapest in today's Nigeria when you want to have education, okay, higher education. So if you go for any federal universities or colleges, you'll be paying next to nothing as tuition. That seems to have been a sort of education subsidized by Nigeria also. Now, if you are going to the state universities, colleges, and all of that, you will have a different stories. Okay? Now, Nigeria is expected to be a federal system whereby every state can always, make laws, rules, anything that actually work for them without having to follow whatever anybody decides at the federal. But because it is a pseudo-federal system, it's a unitary system, whereby even the federating unit of Nigeria, they are enslaved to that center. Therefore, they can't really do anything by law on themselves to succeed or survive. So, making the law primarily has created a bit of a confusion. Who are those who will benefit? And what are the real benefits? So, the education bank that will have that money from the central bank, okay? You, as a student of the federal universities or colleges, you can then go to your, the student, what do you call it, admin department in your school to go and pick up a form that you want to borrow money to pay for your school fees. Now, when they give you student loan, they cover a lot of things, including tuition, accommodation, transportation, education materials, including tour. If you have to pay for any kind of, your class tour, that's what they call the student loan mostly. But Tinubu says student loan is to pay the school fees of the federal university students and then colleges. So states who want to benefit from it, what they will now do is that they will now put up an application and say, okay, the state colleges and universities students who want to get to, okay? So they have to make a deal. Your state have to make a deal with the government. That area is not really clear. But let's focus on the one that seems to be clear but shady. So what they now do is that the news now broke after the student loan, okay, that they are now introducing new school fees to the federal universities and colleges in Nigeria. You see, the era whereby you could send yourself to school. A lot of you bragged. I went to Ife. My total school fees for 4 years is now up to 100,000 naira. Now, that era is completely gone now. Some of you are there now. And as people are complaining of paying this massive tuition, you in the federal university and colleges, you are like paying next to nothing, Abi. That has ended in that new student loan. So what happened is that it doesn't matter how much your school fees. Listen to this. So if your school fees is, for example, increased to 200,000 naira in Ife, for example, don't worry if you can't pay it. Just go to your department head and ask for the process of how to get a loan, student loan. Okay? So when you follow that procedure, okay, then if your loan is approved, now before you can even get approval, right? Now, if you have any criminal record as a student, you cannot access that loan. If you have defaulted, for example, on some of these loan sharks with all this loan app that some of you are borrowing money from and running away, some of them are putting your pictures as obituary on social media because you are not paying them what you borrowed. All of that will flag up. You can't participate. Now, if you have none of those and you've not cheated in an examination before and get caught in your school, okay? So if you have never done that, then now you are qualified to apply. To now apply, here are the processes, or should I say the process. The first one, after picking up the form that you are interested in so amount of money for your school fees, okay? Your department and all of them will give you that form. You will then take the form to your guarantor. You need guarantor, 2 guarantors. And that could be a level 12 civil servant to sign up that you will pay your student loan, okay, after. And then you need to look for a royal father, a senior cleric in your area, and all that kind of thing. So if you now get all of them, now you will then take that your form. You will take it to the student, education bank, okay? When you take it to the education bank, you will now submit your form for the loan. Now, the education bank will then look into all your background, everything, like should they give you or not. Now, if the education bank feels like they can't give it to you, then you will need to go and sort for the money for your school fees afterward. Sure you get. Now, if you make it to that point and the education board says, clear, here is your 180,000 naira for your school fees this semester. Now, that school fees is not going to be given to you. Remember, you have already filled your student details and all that, Abi. So they will now pay it straight to your school. Do you get that now? So once it is paid, all you will need then is going to be the slip confirmation that you've paid. So then you know that you are owing the education bank 100,000 naira, 200,000 naira, no interest to, according to the no interest to. So don't worry about interest or anything. Now, then after 4 years of your education and you are now a graduate, okay? So you go for the 1 year mandatory youth service. that one you get paid, they are going to increase the money soon from the current 40,000 or 50,000 naira. They're going to increase it to about 100,000 naira. Now, with that 100,000 naira a month, so by the time you finish, let's say after 4 years, or let's say ASU strike, or no, but let's say there's no ASU strike, there will be ASU strike, by the way. But let's say there is no, so none, 4 years. And your total fee for that 4 years is put at, let's say, 1 million naira. Okay? Now, you go for your service for the first year. They won't ask you for the money. Then they'll give you an extra year after your graduation, making it 2 years. Okay? Now, around that time, whether you want to go and look for a job, once you found a job, you will go back to the education bank, okay, and tell them that you have found a job so that they can set up a direct debit, removing an agreed amount of money from your salary every month, okay? So you take that, and that's it. But if something happened that you can't find a job, you decide that you want to go and start a business, it is the same thing. After 2 years, year 1, service. Year 2, looking for a job or business and setting up the repayment of your student loan. So by the year 3, if you have not started paying, you are going to jail. Now, when they arrest you, and they figure out that you have defaulted, you have not paid your student loan, you will be fined 500,000 naira as a fine, or 2 years in jail. You will still pay the money, but for defaulting. Sure, you get now. Now, people are now saying 4 years university, 1 year NYSC, 1 year freedom, and then 2 years jail. So if people see you and say, Baba, I haven't seen you after our graduation, after NYSC. What happened? How is life? He said, Baba, I go jail. Why? Because I don't pay my student loan. So I go spend 2 years in jail. Now that's the farthest of it. Sure, you get for those who kind of attempt to take the loan. Now, if your household, for example, in your house, you are earning more than 500,000 naira every month, you are not qualified. Your children are not qualified. So what that simply means is this. Let's say you are earning 500,000 naira every month and you can't take the loan. But suddenly, the school fees you normally pay for your son or your daughter, or for your sons and daughters in that school, usually with your salary, you considered yourself that even though it's not easy, but you are thanking God. You know that type that we say, about how far you they manage for this Nigeria? Baba, it's not easy, but we are thanking God. Because you are able to still pay some bill, because they are there moderately. Now, what happened is that that your 500,000 naira is going to become not enough anymore. Because you can't access the loan, and at the same time, you need your children in school. So it's complicated, Abi. Now, that's when people now said, it has already opened the door for the multi-dimensional corruption that is going to take place. And because this is all about money, for them, it's just going to be like first come, first serve. Those of you that will first get the set of the money, you are never going to pay back, and you are never going to go to jail. It's a pure bazaar. But you can dance around and feel like, but it's cool now. Now, one of the things that is causing problems in the education sector in Nigeria is the funding. Okay? You can take out all these disguises, all this nonsense, all right? By what? By letting the schools run their own, their schools. Okay? Currently, if you go to some universities in Nigeria, the tuition is considered cheaper if you are considering the tuition in Nigeria to the rest of the world. Okay? But here is the twist. The economy of Nigeria does not reflect the kind of tuition that some schools are charging currently in Nigeria. And then you begin to ask, for example, there is this, I think it's the last year where there's this particular school that increased their school fees from, I think, that's in Ogun State, Abi. They increased their school fees from about 40,000 naira to over 240,000 naira for law students and science students, right? That's an astronomical, you know what, increase. You'll be so. But then you begin to ask that if the school is charging this much and they have a population of over 4,000, 5,000 or 10,000 students, and people are paying this massive, running into billions of naira, who then takes the money and not the school? But the government gets the money. Abi, who gets the school fees you pay? Because at the end of the day, when you go to all these schools, they are all there dilapidated enough that they are crying for funding. And you are like, if you can't 10 of your friends and how much you pay for school fees in the last semester, and then you are like, how come we don't have any running water in this school? How come we don't have any, dispensary that actually really cares and takes care of the heads of the students? The money is gone. So it's pretty much like, a money spinning, and it is the chance for the Kolu and gang. But this time around, like the education tax fund, that nobody will tell you what they are doing with the money. Nobody. Bokwari came, just multiply 3 trillion or 4 trillion naira. By now, it will probably have been over 4 trillion naira for education tax fund they are collecting in Nigeria. Multiply that by 8 years. 8 times 4, 32. Abi? 32 trillion naira. Imagine what 32 trillion naira could have done in education of Nigeria, the welfare of the lecturers, the teachers, and the rest of them. Just imagine that. Now, since they don't know what will happen to 20%, let's go and take 1% from the crude oil. Here you get. So the students' union leaders, they met with Kolu in appreciation that he just gave them the student loan, right? In celebration. Let me see if I still have that. We currently kind of up to, give me a second. Yeah, we're currently up to that part of their leadership, which was where I wanted to start in the first place. But we'll come back to that. That of this. So yeah, he got visited by the student NANS. They are called NANS, and everyone telling them that this is pretty much a Ponzi scheme. Is considered enemy of Tinubu, as they did with that of Bokwari. Sorry, give me a sec. So talking about their leadership, the Alibaba and 40 Thieves, and those who are going to help consolidate the state capture that you are about to witness. I'm talking about Akpabiole and gang. So the dream of Kolu to have control over the National Assembly of Nigeria, which is the tradition anyway, and the thing that actually makes it more like paddy. The state capture is complete. Nobody's going to checkmate or control anything. A lot of you are praying right now that hopefully the court will rescue you. You know, I always tell you that amen to that, Abi. Nobody's coming to rescue you. The the whole vicious circle has come full, and as it is right now, you are just at the mercy of whatever Kolu pushes your way. It's not going to be easy for him to. Here you get agitation, protest, criticism, and all of that are going to escalate, and they are also going to be up for it, because I know them very well. The propaganda machine is working like endlessly as we speak right now. Yeah? And therefore, a lot of you are going to get muddled up in so many confused lies. But you know one thing that can never change is the fact that if they are doing the right thing, are you with me? It will last, and you will feel it. And there is no one that can pop up any kind of a criticism just to rubbish that. But as it is right now, enjoy the flair of the lie, like these guys who call themselves the student union, but I know they are not.
Less than 24 hours after President Bola Tinubu signed the student loans bill into law, members of the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, led by the President Umaru Barandu, were at the State House Abuja to show their appreciation to the President.
Always stand for our land. Thank you very much. Please have your seat.
The Student Loan Act will provide easy access to higher education for indigent Nigerians through interest-free loans from the Nigerian Education Loan Fund. President Tinubu said his administration would commit more resources to the education sector.
If we all believe that education is the greatest weapon against poverty, then we have to invest in it. And that poverty should not prevent anybody, any child, including the daughter or son of a wood seller or bolly seller or yam seller, from attaining their high standard of education, to eliminate poverty. If you eliminate poverty in one family, one single unit, you can carry the rest of the wealth.
The president will promise to consider the request of the NANS leaders, urge the students' body to ensure unity among its members across the country to achieve more.
The bill is open-ended, without tenure. 4 years university education should be 4 years, unless you are in medicine or other sciences that is longer than that. So the kind of ASU strike that we had in the past must not happen again. Yes, the student needs to be represented. But if there's anything I last remember, that you are not cohesive too. You fractionized. You are in factions sometimes. So once one person is on the board, another faction might raise a hand.
Addressing State House correspondent after the meeting, the student said they made some demands to the president, one of which is the review of the membership of the Students' Loan Board.
And there are some organization that they put there, which to us, they don't need to be there. We gave him an example, more especially the Nigerian Bar Association, ASU. They have their own microfinance bank running their own affairs without students in their board. So I don't think it's wise for us to allow them to be inside our own board, because it is purely student.
The student loan bill, which takes effect immediately, was sponsored by the Speaker of the Ninth House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila.
Share you guys about board appointment and the rest. And he said it is purely for students. It is not purely for students, in case if you don't know. The Education Bank, according to that Education Bank Act, Education Act, Education Bank can also perform other banking duties or roles, like giving loans to other businesses. Do you know that? So it's not just for you students. In case you begin to say corruption in another few months. Corruption. Now the politicians, they get the loan. The students are not getting the loan. The students are not being given the loan. Please remember today that Mayegun told you, you are just pawn on their chess table. Enjoy this whole drama while it lasts. Call Mayegun negative, or Mayegun, it doesn't wish Nigeria well. These people don't wish you well. And a lot of you that are not going to get that loan would need to source for your school fees elsewhere. And if you can't, maybe you should take a break. Maybe you will have to take a break and come back later to continue. All of these are on their way. But until then, when they said it takes effect, it takes effect immediately. This afternoon, they said, no, it's not immediately again. It's going to be September, October. That is when they will first begin to release the money. For now, they need to set up the bank, they need to set up the board, they need to set up all of this, which actually is, that makes sense, all right? They need to set all the shop up. But you see all of the way you will know that it is set up for looting and stealing is that, do you know that if they actually meant well, that they really want to help you to get access to education, having access to education is not the it's not the problem in Nigeria anymore. It's not actually the main problem in Nigeria. That's what so many students said. The real problem in Nigeria is what you do after getting that education, job, or what are the opportunities there to explore? What are the ones created by the same government that told you to have it, to get education? You are already, a lot of you are already in school. Yes, you are struggling to get by, Abi. Accessing or gaining access or gaining admission is actually not, it's not the real problem, is it? Okay. So those who felt like the bank, like I said initially, right? Those of you who are going to get caught up in all of this, you will now realize that it is not set up to help you to access education, because accessing education is not the real problem. It is actually accessing jobs when you get that education. But if Tinubu is telling himself that he wants to help you to have access to education, so yeah, they are going to introduce new school fees so that you will have no reason to say, because the school fees is expensive, that is why you drop out. Those who are promoting this, majority of them, they are most people who dropped out of school, uneducated or half-educated or poorly educated people. Those who are shouting this education, that, oh, sure you get. But you're going to come back to me and tell me later how politicians hijack your bank. It wasn't your bank in the first place. It's just another conduit pipe, another empower, another ministry of humanitarian affairs, another ministry of happiness. Have you what you want to call them? Job or money for the boys, but embrace it while it lasts. So let's go to what they have done to you. What they have done to you, to Nigeria. A lot of you are not going to realize that or understand it yet. I can see, as usual, I have been proven right when I said Nigerians, they love their oppressors, their thieves differently. And whenever religion, tribe, ethnicity comes to play, common sense, morality, and all of that would have to take the last seat. They don't like, they don't hate most of these bad things that you are seeing. In fact, they are ready to fight you for calling out those bad people and their bad behaviors, because you are talking about their man. Why are you attacking the person from our tribe? Mayegun, can't you see that, there's unity? They're happy. You know what they're saying? Right now, Tinubu has given the thieves in every region sense of belonging. I'll tell you. The president, Kolu, is from Southwest, Abi. The vice president, Shitty Boy, is from Borono, Northwest. Shina Northwest. Northeast. No, Northeast. No, Northeast. The speaker, Tajuddin Abbas, from Kaduna, North Central. I've been at Northwest. Akpabiole The thief is from Akwa Ibom, South too. Abi, his own vice, I don't know his name yet, is from somewhere in northern Nigeria, maybe northwest. Tajuddin Abbas from Kaduna, his own vice is from southeast, from Igbo land. And according to them, for the first time, yes, it's evenly distributed. Even though the Agbadomites are saying, before Igbos will touch anything leadership in Nigeria, first they have to repent for supporting Obi and not voting for Kolu. Then secondly, they will wait till 2039. So, but if they continue like this, they will need to wait for another 16 years. Because according to them, Nigeria power rotation among these criminals, once it is done, once the Yorubas are done, Kwakwanso from Kano in year 2031 will take over from Kolu. When Kwakwanso finish in year 2039, Akpabiole will take over. Then somebody said, what about the Igbos? They need to change. If they don't change the way they are doing their politics, they will have to wait 30, year 2046, 47, year 2047. They've already shared it. And according to what Tinubu has achieved, there is nothing like checks and balances anymore. Come and shop, come and shop. Now in the ground, the thieves have taken over strategic positions in Nigerian polity. They will execute, they will make laws. They will pass and borrow, they will pass budgets. They will borrow money in your name. All right? They will print money in your name. They will kill your fellow Nigerians. They will do a lot of things in the next, God knows when it's going to take them. Abi? I don't know. The president is a retired heroin trafficker. The vice president is an active Boko Haram, sympathizer, a jihadist. The Senate president is a career kleptomaniac, Akpabiole. His vice, I don't know him yet, so I can't give you the profile yet. Abbas, Tajuddin, also, as part of the rotting system, a rubber stamp as well. I don't have much details on him until when his wives showed up and Wahala started during his own inauguration. I don't know if you have seen it all. They swear for the speaker. And the two wives were fighting for space behind him. That shows that drama they come. We go enjoy them. I'll take you to where they swear for them.
Victor.
Okay. Now, I think to make this make sense, okay, we want to go straight into, give me a second. We want to go straight now into the selection process of these criminals. So, Akpabiole, Chief of Staff, Remi Weripe, Deputy President, Seyi Tinubu, first son of the Federal Republic, Folashade Tinubu, first daughter of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And the whole thing seems to have come a full circle. Seyi was the first to call on those who call themselves lawmakers. Oh yeah, all of you, I want to see you. The first son of the Federal Republic of Nigeria wanted to see all of the newly elected or returning National Assembly lawmakers. Okay? And one of them, Saidu Muhammad Yesu, he was so happy to attend that meeting. That, Seyi, Sheyi, the first son of the Federal Republic. Now you're going to know that there is actually going to be office of the first son of the Federal Republic. He's already marking his own territory. His own sister, Folashade, she is marking her own territory too. The first daughter of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. You see, the selection, they are currently at the stages, at the stage of a selection. All of them are going to be the new faces that are going to be donning your different screens, your newspapers, your radio, your gist, your blogs, your videos seen and all of that in the next coming days, weeks, months, and years. So they are taking their positions right now. Okay? So when they were making that selection, the drama started when the Labour Party House of Rep member decided to become the Shotun Shosima Babi Kokonje. Sorry if you don't understand that Yoruba. Shotun Shosima Babi Kokonje is somebody who doesn't want to offend anyone, yeah, by trying to be nice to all parties, like this guy when they were voting.
Victor, Famefuna, how do you vote?
Though my heart is with Right Honorables Uwase and Jaji, my vote goes to TJ Abbas.
Your vote. Order, please. Order, please. I advise us to keep it simple so that we... No, they are saying no. Members elect.
So, they all said that Tinubu doesn't have to meet them anymore. Anything that he wants, everything he wants them, they will do it. See. And it has started, though. Obedient. This battle of yours. You, man, no lie you. You are going to see the true Nigeria politics. You are going to see the true meaning of no permanent friend, no permanent enemy in politics, but permanent interest, which is the GBT, the fraud that they normally use when fraudsters won't drop quotes. When Nigeria criminals, looters, when they want to drop quotes, they will tell you there is no permanent enemy, no permanent friends in politics, only permanent interest. I beg, ladies and gentlemen, what is that permanent interest of Labour Party as Labour Party lawmakers, APC lawmakers, PDP lawmakers, in your own opinion? Now, if a Labour Party now come and tell you that there is no permanent enemy, there is no permanent friend, it's only permanent interest, and this interest is the interest of Tinubu, what would you do? What would you say? Okay, think about that anyway. But you are about to witness it. You see that 30 million that you are hearing that senators, they smuggle collect. And senators turning to contractors in the National Assembly, begging for contracts, budget padding. Your darling Labour Party politicians are going to do the same. Sure you get? You and the APC, the Lagos Abobakus, Oshogbo Alimajiris, articulators, articulated mugus, articulated morons, all of them are going to enter the same water, the same inside the same puddle of death. Because you know why you are going to enter the gutter with them? You are going to be wondering why. You need to spell it out that they must be different. They can stand for Nigeria progress by standing on what is right, not by following what Tinubu wants, so that there is no noise, and they call it progress for Nigeria. 8 years, ladies and gentlemen. Well, apart from the first 4 years, this last 4 years of Bukwari, The Nigerian National Assembly became the rubber stamp. Everybody is cashing out from whatever Bukwari had to offer. Guess who was picking up the bill? You. Today, Nigeria is so indebted that every Nigerian, young and old, is now owing over 700,000 naira to debtors. We don't even know who we are owing. Because of these guys, their cooperation for the progress of Nigeria. 16 trillion naira uncompleted project scattered everywhere. Uncompleted. Lagos Ibadan Expressway, uncompleted. Lagos Ibadan Railway, uncompleted. Abuja Kaduna Rail Line, uncompleted. Abuja Metro Line, uncompleted. Abuja CCTV project, uncompleted. Second Niger Bridge, uncompleted. Power generation, uncompleted. Refinery refurbishment, uncompleted. 11 trillion naira spent on refinery refurbishment in Nigeria in the last 8 years. Because National Assembly and the executive are cooperating for the progress of Nigeria. Nobody's been held for anything. So if you are sitting there and say, hey, this is leadership for the cooperation and the progress of Nigeria, as a Labour Party person, I feel sorry for you. You're going to get caught up in that, trapped in all of that. But the whole game is kind of taking shape now. I have seen some of you as well feeling like at least Akpabiole has now finally achieved his life dream. The dream of becoming... You are happy. But when the scandal begin, and you say, these people are just mad. These people are our enemy. These people are the kiniko. You begin to act like, say, you didn't celebrate this, Abi. You are going to come back when they begin to deal with you. Now, immediately after my heart and my vote issue, they decided to swear for the new speaker. Another drama. Now, the only thing I still know about the Abbas be this. 2 wives who came to the swearing in, they didn't sort themselves, and they started almost a fight where he was being sworn in. And another thing, the guy that killed 13 people because they won't let people vote for him, and they were going to vote for another people in his own Kano constituency. Dogua, the murderer, was standing next to their new speaker. And you, hey, may Tinubu succeed. May you succeed in your moron, in your moron, what have you anyway. So yeah, the swearing in.
Oath of allegiance. I,
Abbas Tajuddin,
do solemnly.
But we are different from governors.
That I will be faithful. And bear true allegiance. To the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And that I will preserve.
That's the procedure.
And that I will preserve.
The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Oath of Speaker of the House of Representatives. I,
Abbas Tajuddin,
do solemnly affirm. That I will be faithful.
You see that?